Good day. Today we're going to look at the notes to the financial statements, more specifically the balance sheet. And the ones we're going to look at will be the ordinary share capital, retained income, trade and other payables, and then also note 3, the fixed assets. But we're going to start with the ordinary share capital. In the question, they give us the information and they tell us we've got to complete those notes. First one is the ordinary share capital. Now, when we do the ordinary share capital, it is important to know the layout of the note. It always starts off with information section, which is the authorized share capital. Often printed for you, but if it's not there, make sure you put it in. It may just be a mark. So somewhere we will find whatever they authorize to sell, but there's no value to that because it's not yet authorized. Second part will be the issued share capital. That is now where we're going to work with the amounts. On the left hand side we'll have number of shares, and on the right hand side the amounts. Starts with the balance at the beginning, ordinary shares on the 1st of March 2017. To that we're going to add whatever new shares were issued during the year and deduct whatever shares were bought back. We'll do them in the sequence that they happened. If we first issued new, we'll put that on the first line, but if we first bought back, we'll put that on the first line. We will then do the sum and get to what the shares at the end of the year was. So ordinary shares, 28 February, this side number, that side amount. So let's go back and see what information they give us. On the list of balances, the trial balance, you will have the balance of the shares. But important, that is at 28 February 2018. That is our year end. In other words, the balance at the end of the year was 3040. So we can go and put it in 3040,000. My balance at the end of the year. Now I must go down to the information and look for anything to do with shares. There it is. First thing they tell me, authorized share capital. It's got nothing to do with values. It is just that first part, and it is 1.8 million. There it is. It's already printed there, but if it wasn't, I would simply put it in. Only number of shares. The next part tells me 1,020,000 were in issue on the 1st of March 2017. That is the beginning of the year. Remember, our year ends on 28 February. So we started off with 1,020,000. So we can put that in under the number of shares. 1,020,000. But we haven't got a value. They don't give me a value there. They simply tell me the number of shares were in issue. No mention of any value. No problem. I'll move on to the next one. They issued 180,000 shares at R4.20 per share on the 1st of April. That is now the first of the two items I'm looking for below the opening balance. So 180,000 is the number, and that shares issued, let's just make this a bit bigger. Sorry. Shares issued during the year, and they were issued at let's just go back, R4.20 each, R4.20 each, at R4.20 each. So easy enough, I can do the calculation. It's the number of 180,000 multiplied by 420 will give me the amount. So 180,000 times 420 gives me 756,000. So that one I've got in there complete. Let's see what the next thing. 250,000 were repurchased on the 28th of February. And a check of 1,337,500 was issued. These shareholders qualify for dividends that we will need later on. It is important to know that when we calculate final dividends, we will need to keep that in mind. But for the capital, we're just interested in the first part. So the number that were repurchased, 250,000. We repurchase, it means the number in issue will become less. So I'll put it in brackets. Just line these up a bit. And that was shares bought back at, and now we've got to put in what the amount per share was. And if I go back, nothing is mentioned. They tell me in total I paid 1,037,500, but I must split that. The average goes to ordinary share capital, and whatever is more than the average will go to retained income. So there's no mention of what the average share value is or what the number of or the amount is that I paid for the in the ordinary share capital account. So I cannot put that in yet. Another question mark. Good, but let's see if they give me anything else. And then they talk about dividends, which I will use later on. So that is the only information I've got on share capital. This one I can calculate because I've got all the figures up there. So it's 1,020,000 plus 180,000 minus 250,000 gives me 950,000. So that bit is fine. Because I bought back the shares on the last day of the month or after I issued, the average share price would be as it is at the end of the year. If the buyback happens after the issue, I can use the figures at the end to work out the average. And to work out the average, it's simply taking the total value, the 3,040,000, divide by the number of shares, 950,000. So let's do the average share price is the value divided by the number of shares. So the value at the end was at 3,040,000. So it is the 3,040,000 divided by the number of shares, which is the 950,000. 950,000. And that gives me 3.20 Rand. So my average value is 3.20 Rand. So the value per share, which must be the average, 3.20 Rand. Now I can work out what the total value for the shares bought back was. It's 250,000 multiplied by 3.20 Rand, and that gives me 800,000. But important, my shares will become less when I buy back, so I must minus the 800,000. So I've got everything but the opening balance. I've got everything except for one, I can work back to get to the missing one. I start with the answer, 3,040,000, do the opposite. So 3,040,000, not minus, but plus 800 minus 756,000. Let's just work it out. So the balance at the beginning, I take the balance at the end, which is the 3,040,000. I add the 800,000 and I minus the 756,000. And I then get the answer, which should give me 3,084,000. So my balance at the beginning, 3,084,000. And that is it. That we've now completed everything we need for the ordinary share capital note. So we can move on to retained income.